Welcome back to the Talking Pools podcast, your go-to source for everything wet, wild, and wonderfully misunderstood in the pool world. I'm Natalie Hood, Director of Education Network Development for The Grit Game, and today we're tackling a topic that's surrounded by misconceptions, the Western Pool and Spa Show. Across the industry, you'll hear plenty of myths, like the idea that the Western Pool and Spa Show is only for service professionals, or that it's just a trade show floor, or that only West Coast companies benefit. Some even believe that it's all about products instead of people, that education sessions are only for beginners, or that it's too expensive unless you're a big company. But the truth is, the Western Pool and Spa Show is far more dynamic, inclusive, and impactful than those assumptions suggest. To help us bust some of these myths and set the record straight, I'm joined by Eric Nielsen from the Western Pool and Spa Show. Eric is an industry professional that brings firsthand insight into how the show has grown into one of the most influential events in our industry, blending education, networking, and innovation. Together, we're going to bust some myths, share the facts, and give you practical reasons why the Western Pool and Spa Show should be on your calendar. Eric, before we dive into these myths, can you give our listeners a brief history of your background and kind of how you came to the role that you have with the Western Pool and Spa Show?
You know what time it is? Wednesday vibes on the Talking Pools podcast! 1, 2, 3, 4. Sun up, tools out, route rolling fine, but I'm tuning in, yeah, Nally's on the line. Guess at the ready, stories that shine, from filters to heaters, they tell it in time. Hey, Wednesday, Natalie lead the way, Talking Pools podcast make the week feel irie. Hey, Wednesday, knowledge start to play, Natalie and the crew keep the blue water happy.
This is your U.S. pool industry trade news rundown for the week of January 11th, 2026. Let's start with the big retail and distribution signal coming out of Pool and Spa News. Pool and Spa News is reporting that Leslie's is closing between 80 and 90 underperforming retail locations nationwide. This is not being framed as a collapse or a panic move, but as a strategic recalibration after several years of aggressive expansion during the pandemic boom. The key takeaway for service professionals is not Leslie's is shrinking. It's that the industry is shifting back toward efficiency over footprint. Fewer retail locations means longer supply runs in some markets, tighter inventory at others, and more pressure on service companies to manage their own chemical and equipment logistics instead of relying on just-in-time retail availability. This also puts independent distributors and local wholesalers back into sharper focus, especially for companies that service commercial accounts or need predictable access to bulk chemicals and parts. You can read the full breakdown and retailer impact analysis at Pool and Spa News. Aqua Magazine, where the big conversation this week centers on money flow and recognition. Aqua Magazine is covering the new partnership between Skimmer and Sunbit, which allows pool service companies to offer consumer financing directly through their service management software. This is a meaningful shift. Financing used to live mostly in the build and remodel world. Now it's entering routine service, equipment replacement, and repair conversations. That changes how homeowners say yes or no to work, and it changes how service companies structure recommendations. Instead of delaying needed repairs or downsizing solutions, operators can present the correct fix and let payment options handle affordability. Aqua Magazine, so spotlighting the newly announced Pentair Pool Pro Award winners, celebrating professionals who are being recognized not just for volume, but for safety leadership, automation expertise, and long-term industry contribution. The full stories and award profiles are available at aquamagazine.com. Now to Pool Pro Magazine, which continues to lean into operational tools and product innovation. Pool Pro echoes coverage of the Skimmer and Sunbit integration, but from the service-side lens, focusing on increased job acceptance rates, smoother payment workflows, and reduced friction at the point of sale. They're also reporting on RV retail and service solutions, adding DocuSign integration to streamline contracts, authorizations, and approvals. This is another signal that paperwork friction is being systematically removed from service businesses, which directly impacts close rates and customer confidence. PoolPro also highlights a new freestanding Sun Ledge product from B² Pools, reflecting continued homeowner demand for shallow lounging features even as new pool construction normalizes. Full coverage and product details are available at poolpromag.com. Next up is Pool Magazine, where the theme this week is consolidation and cost pressure. Pool Magazine reports that Landmark Aquatic has acquired CEM Aquatics, strengthening its position in design, build, and maintenance services. This is part of a broader consolidation trend where regional players are expanding vertically instead of geographically. Pool Magazine is also covering a leadership transition at Team Horner, with Mike Dooley stepping into the CEO role following Dr. Bill Kent's departure. Leadership changes at the distribution level tend to ripple outward, influencing vendor relationships, pricing structures, and service expectations. They're also running an analysis on rising silver and copper prices, noting that increased raw material costs could soon show up in heaters, electronics, salt cells, and automation components. This is an early warning for service companies to watch margins closely and prepare customers for pricing shifts. You can read those stories in full at poolmagazine.com. One of the most meaningful developments continues to be the Grit Games education partnership with Watershape University. This collaboration positions Grit not just as a rep firm, but as an active participant in raising the technical and professional bar across the industry. The focus is on co-hosting high-quality training, supporting distributor-based education events, and expanding access to credible, advanced instruction for builders, designers, and service professionals. This is part of a broader shift where education is no longer treated as a side benefit, but as infrastructure for long-term industry health. At the same time, the Grit Games manufacturer relationships continue to expand into adjacent outdoor living categories. Their recent partnership with American Fire Products strengthens their footprint in fire features and integrated outdoor environments, signaling continued convergence between pools, patios, and full backyard design. For builders and retailers, this means more cohesive representation, better product alignment, and fewer gaps between water and fire elements in project planning. Taken together, these moves reinforce what Grit has been signaling for some time now. This is not a traditional rep model built purely around line cards and territory coverage. It's a hybrid approach that blends representation, education, brand development, and long-term relationship building. Even without a breaking headline this week, the direction is clear, and it's one worth paying attention to as trade show season ramps up. You can find more details and prior announcements through Pool Magazine and Aqua Magazine's coverage of the Grit Game. Now let's talk about the most recent column written by Rudy Stankiewicz, published in Aqua Magazine, titled Industry Vibe Check, a Single Pringle. This column is not about data points or forecasts. It's about emotional economics inside the pool industry right now. The core theme is isolation. Not loneliness in a dramatic sense, but operational isolation. Single truck operators feeling boxed in by rising costs and stagnant pricing. Small companies feeling squeezed between large consolidators and DIY messaging. Experienced professionals quietly questioning whether the grind still makes sense while still showing up every day and doing the work. The column walks through how the industry talks constantly about growth, scaling, and expansion, while rarely acknowledging that many professionals are simply trying to stabilize. It challenges the idea that struggle is a personal failure, reframing it instead as a structural moment the industry is passing through. You discuss how being a single Pringle in this environment doesn't mean being weak or behind. It means being exposed to price hikes, customer expectations shaped by social media, and a marketplace that assumes infinite resilience from service professionals. The piece also addresses the dangerous normalization of burnout, not in dramatic terms, but in the quiet ways it shows up. Shorter patience, fewer conversations with peers, less curiosity, less joy. You argue that these are not character flaws, but warning lights, and that ignoring them is one of the biggest risks facing the trade right now. The column closes by reframing success away from size and toward sustainability. Staying solvent, staying ethical, staying mentally intact, still caring about water quality, safety, and craftsmanship even when no one is clapping. The message is clear without being preachy. You're not alone, even when it feels like it. And surviving this moment with your integrity intact is not a consolation prize, it's the work. That full column can be read Aqua Magazine's website under the service section. Service Industry News is also highlighting RB Retail and Service Solutions edition of DocuSign integration, streamlining contracts and authorizations so techs spend less time on paperwork and more time in the field. Behind the scenes, consolidation continues as service groups expand regionally through acquisitions, reinforcing a trend toward scale and efficiency. Taken together, this week's coverage points to a service market that is tightening operations, digitizing workflows, and positioning itself for a more disciplined, professionalized season ahead. That's your U.S. pool industry trade news for the week of January 11th, 2026. For deeper dives, full context, and original reporting, make sure to visit Pool and Spa News, Aqua Magazine, Service Industry News, Pool Pro Magazine, and Pool Magazine directly.
We're going to bust some myths, share the facts, and give you practical reasons why the Western Pool and Spa Show should be on your calendar. Eric, before we dive into these myths, can you give our listeners a brief history of your background and kind of how you came to the role that you have with the Western Pool and Spa Show?
Well, I've been in the industry literally 50 years plus.
Wow.
Started doing pools actually in 1974.
That's awesome.
Things before that as a teenager, and worked in the industry in and out doing different things. But for the most part, and I've had had multiple different businesses, but for the most part, I've always had a service and construction company. I mean, it's always been started construction in the 80s, but again, most of my business is high-end service in Beverly Hills, Bel Air, Malibu. That just sort of become my niche. So I have my own company, and swimming pool industry's been good to me, and so I've always worked at giving back. Got involved in IPSA, which is one of the things. Served as and president of IPSA. I'm a regional director now for Northern LA, and gosh, it's going on 30 plus years ago. We've been attending and going to what was in the Western Pool and Spa Show. It started off as a very small little, actually a seminar with maybe 3 classes in Studio City in California. Grew fairly quickly into the Pasadena Convention Center, and ultimately to Orange County, Anaheim, and now where we're at, which we will be celebrating this year, our 39th year in Long Beach.
That is awesome. Congratulations.
This will be our 48th year of show, and we've grown. It's a tremendous show. The industry, I'd say, certainly it's not people. A lot of people think of it as a regional show, but certainly it's what the largest shows in the industry.
Oh yeah, it's a big show. I've been there quite a few times, and the one thing that I took away was the education, the networking, and just how much fun I had visiting all the different booths, because you guys have a pretty large setup.
It's a large show floor, certainly. I mean, a lot of exhibitors, and when you say it's fun, we try to make it fun. We try to make it, it's a family atmosphere. We love having people come, bring their families. For our putting contest, we've always got different, things going on, just sort of, let alone our big giveaways. And stuff that are continually going on. Oh, it's a focus to make it an interesting, fun event for anybody attending. We're actually also what's important, sort of, which is always the atmosphere, is that we're an all volunteer show. So we don't have any paid staff other than our, accountants, whatever. It Because of that, I think it generates that kind of atmosphere that people,
Yeah.
people feel that differently. So again, we look at people, all the other larger shows, international show, I mean, the others, big ones, they have big teams of people who do stuff, and us, it's only a few people who that really put on what would be considered certainly it's not a tabletop,
Yeah.
but
No,
it's
definitely not a tabletop.
major show in the industry.
Well, let me ask this. Your mascot, I absolutely love him. And I always thought he was a pirate. What is he?
He's a sheriff.
He's a sheriff. Okay.
It starts off Western show. Uh, that's always been sort of we've always had a character. Our iteration that we have are now our fifth different person playing the character, a live character.
So you have different people. So it's not the same person.
It's transition over the years. If you're going through Little Algae, the character has been around for 42 years, so it wasn't from the very beginning, but it was part of an ad. It was one of the things that was sort of that we did as a show. Some of the ads were sort of cartoonish like and whatever. And in fact, this year one of my focuses, and if you look, you'll see our brochure covers and stuff. We're actually doing that in animation and things that they're animated. So it's animated like a character. But yeah, Little Algae. And we're trying to bust the myth of people thinking of him as a pirate. So it's a
He's a sheriff. Okay.
He's a sheriff. He's a Western sheriff. In fact, being our URL, Western show, I mean, we get asked to by all the time. The Western lifestyle and being and stuff. People always wanting, hey, is that for sale? I mean, you could westernshow.com, because they want to be able to do something, within Western, and people pop up even Western clothing, outfit, stuff. A lot of times we pop up on Google searches because of Western. So
that makes complete sense. For the longest time, I thought he was a pirate, but that actually makes sense that he's a sheriff and it's the Western Pool and Spa show.
And one of the things
blown.
Actually, it sort of got pushed off. He would actually wear like 2.6 guns. We had our character carrying, fake guns or whatever. But people, here we're in California. Oh, we can't have, a guy walking around. Well, I'm sorry. If we're bringing the guns back.
Yeah, I know California's got extremely strict laws on guns.
Yeah, they're just dummy stuff. But we just want to make sure that people understand that that's who and what he is.
I love it. Well, thank you for clarifying that. Well, I appreciate you being here today. Again, part of the Wednesday episodes that I do, we like to bust some really good industry myths. And so I've always loved the Western show. I've been there numerous times, and I will address him as sheriff next time I see him, which I will be there at the Western show in February. Yep. Very excited about that with the Grid Gang. We'll actually have our own booth this year. But I think there's a lot of common myths about the Western show. And so I kind of want to dive into those myths with you. I think one of the biggest myths that I want to start with is that the Western Pool and Spa show is really just for service professionals, or only for service professionals.
Well, certainly we started off, I mean, it was just, again, it started off with just a little, three class seminar. And mostly it was for people, and we have been known as a service show, and we certainly, that's a big part of our industry. Service is a huge part of our industry.
Yeah, it's huge.
But we have, and with purpose, we have worked at expanding our demographic, both, especially, I mean, into the construction side more and more.
You have to.
And you have to. And that sort of goes right along with what really happens out in the real world with guys that are out there in service. Many of them, I myself included, you start off a service company, but then all of a sudden you're asked to do this and that, whatever, and all of a sudden you're starting to do more and more, and you're adding on construction as part of your business. And so we've added on components of construction that we have great partnerships. We've done stuff with Genesis, and now we have great partnership things that we do with Watership University, and expanding to more very advanced classes. I would say the one part of the industry that we're probably not going to get, and we never get much, simply part of it is retail. And part of that is because well, they do come, and we do get quite a few retail stores come because they usually provide service and or construction things. I
Yep.
mean, even we have Leslie's.
Kind of go together. They're kind of married.
Leslie's people. But usually when they go to retail goes to a show, it's in order to buy products or for their next season, right? I mean, you
Mhm.
go to the international show and it's all the spas and back barbecues and everything else. All those things a retail store would have, but
Right.
which we've normally been in March, and now we've kind of been because of the way that the trade show business is so busy and hard to get dates. We've been pushed into earlier into February.
You guys used to be in March, didn't you? Weren't you guys originally in March?
We've been in March for ever. I mean, we've touched into February and around April, but it's always been March. Right now, every show in the industry, other than Atlantic City, really has difficulties getting dates.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of shows, but it's also because outside the trade show, I mean, all the larger convention centers, which ours is a larger show, they're booked up. I mean, they're doing
Mhm.
so many things. They're booked up with volleyball and cheerleading, and I mean,
Yep.
and then other industry shows and stuff. And while we are a larger shows, and we've been around, let's say in Long Beach for all those years, we don't take up like the whole city. So unless you're a citywide,
I'm sure the people that are living there appreciate that.
I know the people listening don't appreciate that, understand the dynamics that we have. I mean, literally, again, even though we're only we're a larger show, unless you're booking multiple thousands of hotel room nights on your peak nights, which is cities are looking for. They're maximizing their profits. It's room tax and it's show floor, but it's room tax and stuff. So you
Yeah.
can't just get the dates. In fact, Long Beach, there's really no shows that they don't unless you're again booking that whole citywide, city type event. You can only book out 18 months in advance. So
Mhm.
I'm free, like I remember, August to October, that time frame as to are we going to get dates? I mean, I'm
Yeah.
working right now. We have 27 dates, and we're working on 28. But it's not only for. I mean, the convention center itself, but even hotels. Yeah.
Yeah. You have to
Hotels,
get those.
it's really difficult that we're working on 28 dates, and hotels it's a struggle. So
Yeah, and you
that's
have to get those room blocks in early. And I mean, I'll say when I was looking at hotels, the flight into Long Beach wasn't too bad. Actually, it was
no.
extremely affordable.
Yep.
But when I was looking at hotels, of course, you have like the extremely expensive hotels.
Yep.
But you know what I found interesting, and I didn't do this year, but there were a lot of Airbnbs that were
Yep.
available that were highly affordable. And I was like,
Yep.
this is so cool. Like, I mean, in the past, I've gone to shows with coworkers and we've gotten Airbnbs and it was a lot cheaper. We had a lot of, we had fun. We would stay up late and we would talk about what we saw that day, what we learned, and we would like
Yep.
brainstorm,
No.
which I loved. And that's the camaraderie, that's the networking, and that's what makes this show so strong. And I think so important is what all you can do. But yeah, I would absolutely agree. I will say, yes, the Western show is heavily service, but I have seen the leaps and bounds that the Western show, and especially what you have done, Michelle Kavanaugh, to kind of bring it to where it's not just service. You guys have really expanded. And so something else that kind of came to mind when I was looking at before we jumped on this call was it's just a trade show floor, but it's not, right?
No, in fact, we exist for education.
Right.
That is actually our mandate is who and what we are that says that the Western Pool and Spa Show to promote the education of the industry. I mean, that's our motto. That's just who and what we are. You'll see it on all our marketing, other stuff. Education is the future. That is, what we are about. We exist. The show floor exists simply for us to provide education to where
Right.
you can come 3 days and take over any one of over 90 different classes.
Yeah, you guys have a ton of education.
And and it's always been that way. And people, if you want, there's no better place to invest in yourself, and it's what it is. Education is investing in yourself to
Yes.
become, a company owner, a better service guy, a better construction worker, better company owner.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and something with that is I think a lot of people, I mean, I grew up in California. I grew up in the Bay Area, Dublin, California. It looks nothing like it did 20, 30 years ago, right? My parents live in Morro Bay. They absolutely love it. But
I love it. Daughter lives
Bispo,
in the Bay Area, so yeah, we're up there all the time.
yeah, yeah, it doesn't look anything like it used to. I
Yep.
will say that for sure. There's a lot of pop-up malls that came about. But something else that I've heard people say in regards to it's just a trade show floor is that it's really only for West Coast companies' benefit, which I hate hearing that. But that's a common myth that the
Sure.
Western show is really just for West Coast companies.
Well, we're the largest show the largest certainly west of the Mississippi, but but we're
Mhm.
third largest industry. But it's
How many people would you say typically come to this show?
we have our attendance itself is over 10,000. Okay.
That's awesome. That's a good amount.
And
That's a lot.
we keep, numbers of people where they come from. Last year we had people from 38 states and 7 foreign countries. So we have companies that come in from China. We have companies that come from Australia. I mean exhibitors. It's a worldwide companies that come from Canada. So that exhibit. So there's
You
companies
got
that
a global reach.
it's a global reach, but it's also that people understand that. And I tell if you're wanting to market your company in our industry, in the aquatic industry in the United States, whatever, California, we just have to say that's the largest concentration of swimming pools. It's what it is. If you want to reach that market, you're selling a product, you should be at the Western Show. And in marketing,
So
it is the best ROI of your investment for marketing to a trade show, that you reach more people in a short amount of time and per dollar than you do in any other marketing campaign. If there is a place to go, then that's where you should be. Again,
yeah.
one of our marketing things is it's the place to be. It's education is the future, and it's the place to be.
No, I could not agree more. Again, I've gone to the Western show, gosh, handful of times. I don't even know how many times, but every time I went there, I felt like when I walked away, I had really strong connections with the people that were there. I saw people I hadn't seen in years, and there's also a lot of really cool attractions. I mean, I'll tell you, I'm coming out this year, and my mom lives, we said she lives in Morro Bay. She was like, "When are you going? Let me know. I want to come." Gosh, I think it was like over a decade ago. She met me at the Western show and we went to the Queen Mary. We had a great time. We had a
Yep.
wonderful dinner. And
Mhm.
my girlfriend who lives in Texas, she's come out and she's visited me. Some of my friends in California that I also grew up in the Bay Area with, they came out and they were like, "Oh my God, this is so cool." They were able to walk the show floor and they were like, "I didn't know like this whole industry existed." And I was like, "Yes. Who do you think takes care of your pool?" And
Right.
so there's so much. It's not just a trade show floor. There's networking, there's education, and again, the views are nice. I won't lie.
Yep.
I do love the views and I do love the atmosphere. Well, let's kind of shift gears a little bit. So, another myth that I've heard is that, it's all about the products. It's not the people. And critics say that sometimes the Western Pool and Spa Show is truly just about selling equipment.
Well, again, the myth to that, certainly is our education program itself. Yeah, it's a focus on education. That we're doing every day.
Education, you really shouldn't be selling product. It should be
Well,
education.
within the classes, and for the most, a lot of our education classes are put on by manufacturers and stuff, and we even
Just
talk,
fine.
which
Which
is
is
fine.
fine.
That's who's in our industry. Those are the industry experts. And if you're going to learn about fixing a navigate, how do I fix navigator cleaners? You're going to go, there's the company you're going to go to learn that from,
You got to learn it somewhere.
exactly. And so we do in our education try to ask the companies that it be an educational course and not a sales pitch. Definitely. But
No
even
sales
the
pitches.
show floor, it's the place to see all those different products. You have all the sales reps that are there to answer your questions about products and what it is. And if you're not, the great thing too is that if you go there and you interact with people, again, the sales reps and whatever, you take that back to your own company. You take that
Mhm.
interpersonal relationship, and that's where it comes
Oh,
from. That's what you have to work. It's work. You have to work to develop the excuse me, work to develop that yourself. I mean, it's a process that you have to think about by developing those relationships. Some you have some sort of equipment and something goes down, you know, where do I go? Well, if you hadn't participated in the show or you weren't part of another group or you hadn't any other thing, you know, you could maybe go to your supply house or whatever. But if you have a relationship with that company, with that sales rep, that's where, you know, they're where you go to, and that's the
yeah.
biggest benefit to your business. And I would say people and relationships, I mean, everything is about relationships, right?
That's how you build and grow.
It's all about relationship. And
Mhm.
so what's wonderful about our industry is while service construction manufacturers, we're all competitors,
Yeah.
right? We're all
Yeah.
competitors. But I don't believe that there's any other industry, and I have other businesses, I have other stuff. I don't think there's any other industry that is as welcoming and helpful to each other and love each other and friendships cross, you know, be it again, service companies or construction or manufacturers. People love coming to our show, and you see that because like manufacturer, they love seeing everybody. I know all the sales reps, everybody else are all friends, right? And everybody's
Yeah.
talking across that's who your friends are. And you see each
Yeah.
other all over the country, right? And certainly the Western show has become is usually one of the last shows of the year, the last big sort of event like that, or the, you know, the larger event of the year. And
Mm.
so it's a social aspect. And that's one of the big things that I've wanted to have, and which is wonderful now. And I'll tout it. We're having, finally last year we put on a big social event, and we're grateful to Heritage and Hasa who helped sponsor thing. And we have a big party, last year, and we're doing it again this year. It's a charity event. I mean, the money will go to Step Into Swim program, which is for drowning prevention, which is an important thing. And for $20, you get in. You got it. This is on our Thursday night. Free food. You know, an open bar. And I've got last year we had a Queen band, and this year I have a Journey band coming from Atlanta, Georgia, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, literally, it's
Love it.
8 the event, and it's a wonderful thing. So get your
Well,
tickets. Get your tickets. Go online and get your tickets in advance because we sold out last year, and I'm sure it's going to go this year, and you don't want to miss something you don't want to miss.
and $20 to give a child that can't or a family that can't afford swim lessons. Come on.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
how can you go wrong? I love it. I mean, I absolutely love it. I mean, again, like I said, I've gone to the Western show many times. I love the atmosphere. It's fun. You have the sheriff, not the pirate, that's walking around. You have a lot of people. And, you know, yes, there's a ton of sales reps there, but I actually think sales reps get a really bad rep. And it bothers me. And I want to talk about that for a second because so many of those sales reps, they've been in the industry for years. Maybe they were builders. Maybe they were service professionals and they've kind of moved on to do something different. Those are truly sales reps are truly the experts in the industry. I mean, they know the product, they know the line. And I know I've spoken to, you know, a lot of our sales managers here with the grit game. And I've asked questions. And they're like, oh no, you have this completely wrong. This is how this product works. And I'm like, oh, I had no idea. And so they're really out there doing the true work. So a lot of us don't have to. But yes, definitely get your tickets for that. Is it the welcome ceremony you said?
It's on. We actually have changed forever until this year, which is a big change. We changed our whole structure of the timing of our show. We used to have shows would start on Thursday evening, sort of
Yep.
allowing people to come and work that day and then come and see the show floor for a few hours on Thursday night. No more Thursday night. That is our party night.
Oh,
The show floor opens earlier in the afternoon on
nice.
Thursday. Education starts at 8 a.m. Usually it was the afternoon on Thursday, but it's 8 a.m. on Thursday,
Yeah. Do it in the
8 a.m.
morning.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Get them bright and early.
We're closing at the show floor at 5 and being able to get over to the venue, and that party starts, and we're going to have a good time.
Very cool. I love that. Well, one last myth, well, not last myth, but another myth that I want to touch on is that, you know, the education sessions that you guys offer are really truly only for beginners. But I know the Western Show is working with Michelle Kavanaugh, and you guys are trying to have sessions that truly hit every segment of the industry, any job type for any company, because in this industry, we need those sessions for everyone and not just for technical sessions, but also business and marketing sessions. So
Yep.
the sessions that you guys have coming up, what do those look like?
Well, certainly, again, that's a focus that I pushed. We've been doing this for years. Michelle's a new team partner of ours this year.
Michelle.
We've had a great person doing seminars for years and years. Just has done a tremendous job doing. But Michelle's come on this year, and that's kind of her forte, and somebody I've known for a long, long time and have wanted to bring her on, and she's helped me in the background. She really hasn't been a part of our team, but she is.
It's great. I
She's
worked with
been
her for many years and she was my mentor and my boss at one point. So of
right,
course I
right.
love her.
She's
Rockstar.
been a good friend for years, but she's been helpful with transitioning and helping work part of that education, which I mean, her and I work and do that together. But focusing on all the different aspects of your life within the industry. So it's not just how to fix a heater, how to fix a pump, how to do whatever. Big part of your business is business. So be that marketing, be that the uh, accounting, get HR. It's one of the biggest things. Certainly, people, getting employees and retention. That's a big one. I mean, how do you work? Because that's all why we're in. We're in it it's a business. If that business isn't financially successful, then
Yeah.
you're not going to be around for very long. So we have to provide those opportunities to people to understand how to run your business, how to maintain it, keep employees, hire employees, do all those
Yeah.
things. Again, maybe make that. We've had several classes that specifically on that one thing we talked about, the transition between, hey, I'm a service company now, I'm starting to do construction. So we've had classes on how to transition from service into construction.
A lot of people do tend to transition from
Yep.
service to construction.
Yep. Yep. And we have classes on that. And it's just so it's a wide spectrum of different classes on maybe how AI is going to be affecting
Yes.
the industry and you individually. Are you taking advantage of what those opportunities are? What things are out there that maybe you can do? And a lot of that we really don't know. It's a sort of
Yeah.
a new thing. You don't
New
know
discovery.
exactly how to utilize it. I mean, I've learned to, all the little things that I do. It's interesting. All of a sudden you pick up how do you do this or that, whatever. And hey,
Hmm.
so I can animate little algae, and he's a moving, walking
Yeah.
character. Besides
Well,
our live character, but it's there's a lot of things that are opportunities. You have to look at those as opportunities.
yeah, you really do. Well, the last myth I want to bust is I tend to hear a lot of people say, well, this show is right now. Granted, you guys are now in February versus March. I think every time I attended, it was in March, right? Early
Yep.
March.
Yep.
But typically when it's busy season, people are zoned in. They're servicing pools, they're building, they're doing what have you. And so like you have that January through March timeframe, and then you have that September through December timeframe, right? Where people are not necessarily out servicing pools. But a big thing that I've heard, a big myth, if you will, is right before busy season, it's kind of hard to justify the cost of attending a show. People don't have the money to travel. They don't have those funds. It's off season. And so for those that are considering whether or not to go to the Western show, um, and they're trying to justify that cost, what's your response to that?
Well, it's one of the things. Certainly, the most difficult part, and I have it forever. And one is in our industry, we haven't always valued education. So a lot of it's always been for free. I mean, it really doesn't cost all that much for getting education. So maybe that's one of the aspects that we don't value it. But you have to understand that and invest in yourself and in your own company. And so certainly I can't say that our show, yes, if you're having to travel and you're staying at hotels and you're doing all that stuff, there's expense there. But if you're just driving in for the day, and I mean, it's a small amount of money. It's literally
Right.
$115 for 3 days of education. I mean,
That's cheap. And
first
education, I mean, you really have to prioritize education.
you have to, and people,
especially in this industry.
and be it in our industry, there's so many, especially service guys will say, "Oh, well, I can't take the time off." I guarantee you, and I tell them, and tell your customer that you have to take continuing education in order to keep your license, keep your business, do whatever. I have yet to have anybody tell me that their customers have complained. Everybody understands the need for education. If they want you to be educated, they want you to be the best that you can be for in order to help them and doing whatever you're doing with, servicing their pool or doing whatever. So there really is no excuse. You need to build, and I was guilty of this when I was young. I mean, certainly, and most people were. You got to be there. You got to work. You can't take time off. You can't whatever. But you
Yeah,
need to
the grind.
build into the structure of your business that time off. Be it we just passing the holidays, be it time off at the holidays. Family is so much, when we get on our deathbeds, we're not going to be, saying, "Oh, gee, I'm really happy because I missed all my kids' baseball
I
games.
made that deal. I did this, I did
But I
that.
made that deal, or I was,
Yep.
I was there all this time." Do little things during the year that'll, making your customers happy, but build this time off, both time off for you and your family, but time off for your own education and developing yourself in your own business. And I
Yeah.
will tell you that for me, the best thing about trade shows is that you actually do that. You actually separate yourself from your business. You take the time to think about how I'm working and developing and progressing my business. Because a lot of times you're working from sun up to,
Yeah.
people say it's light outside, therefore I'm working. For me, it's usually I'm awake, therefore I'm working. It's the kind of thing. So you have to actually physically structure that time off in order to do that, to again develop yourself. And when you're at a trade, you're separated yourself. It's that time that you can actually think about how am I going to progress my business? How am I
Right.
going to grow it? What am I going to do? How I'm going to change things financially? Can I bring on another employee? Can I do all this stuff? Because at the end of the day, you're dead tired, and all of a sudden and all of a sudden it's family, whatever things, and you don't have time to think about those things. So you
Yeah.
have to separate yourself from your normal day to day in order to think about and structure those things. I mean, it's one thing. I there's a book that I love that's also, it's called The Millionaire Pullman. Charles Baird
I've
wrote
heard
it
of that book.
years ago. Recommend it highly, highly. Every year I take the time and I reread that book. And it's all it is again, it's about taking the time to think about and structure your business and make yourself and who you are, make yourself both a professional, but also to help yourself. And the Western Show is one of those places that you need to separate yourself, go to,
Right.
have a good time, enjoy yourself, see your friends, see all the sales rep friends, see all the things and other thing, but help and develop yourself and grow your business.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I work from home, and I think a lot of people this day and age do work from home. And I will say the best connections I get are at trade shows. They're where I'm walking the booth, I'm walking the show floor, I'm having those conversations, I'm seeing different products, and it gives me inspiration for ideas to, how can I help expand with the company that I'm working with? How can I help expand on education, certification, things of that nature? I meet with, jurisdiction officials, and that's really what it's kind of about. It's not about just sitting at home or in an office, if you will, and just doing the dirty work, right? I mean, there's going to be dirty work. There's always dirty work. There's always a ton of work. But going to those trade shows, it allows you to really expand and give you those, light bulb, 2 a.m. light bulbs that you're like, I didn't think of that. That's really cool. I spoke to this person at the Western show and they brought this up and this would correlate with what I'm doing here. And
Yeah.
right? That's what it's about.
Oh, it's a big part of it. And another big thing is,
Yeah.
and I mean, I know a lot of people in the industry. I've been lucky, I have a lot of friends. But even locally, I go in the supply houses,
Mhm.
and I'm there, and I'm always getting asked questions and other stuff. And I try to get people to go to the trade show to do stuff. And people that I finally get them to come stuff. They are blown away because they don't understand that they are part of a huge industry.
Yeah.
That
I mean,
there's
it's small,
that,
but it's also
you're
huge.
if all you are is just at your local again your local supply house and you're doing your little job and you're doing whatever you're a service guy or your small little
Yep.
construction stuff. But you walk all of a sudden on the floor, be it Western Show, the International Show, and whatever, and you're going, "Oh my goodness, I'm part of this." Some big,
Yeah.
a big industry, and all the different aspects that are part of that, things that you never thought about, things
Well,
that
and then
you're part of
also,
something.
yeah, and by making those networking connections, it also allows you that phone line where if you have a question, I mean, we're all experts in some part of the industry, right? We're
Right.
not going to be experts in the whole industry. There's so many different aspects to this industry. But by going to those shows and by networking, you're given the opportunity to where if you're on a job site and something comes up and you're like, shoot, I don't know how to handle this, you can pull that phone out and call that person that you saw at the Western Pool
Yep.
and Spa show. And you're like, hey, I'm on a job site right now. This came up. What's your recommendation? How do I approach the situation? Do you have a product or dealer, manufacturer, what have you? Or do you have a sales rep that I can call and just kind of get some more information on to do a try me deal or what have you? And that's what it's really about. Yes, there's always going to be competition in this industry. It's small, but it's also quite large, right? I mean, again, I always joke that my husband had no idea there was a whole industry behind the pool. He was like, I didn't know anything about this. Like, and it's even funny. He has like a note to whenever people are like, hey, I know you do this for the Army. He's a combat medic in the Army. Gosh, I think he's at like 17 years now. Um,
Mhm.
Hopefully we're almost done moving. He was like, I had no idea about this industry. And I was just like, buddy, there's a whole network of people. I mean, you have a pool in a backyard. Who do you think built it? I mean, come on. So I absolutely agree. I think going to these shows, it's not, it's education, it's networking, but it also gets you out of the house, it gets you out of the office, it allows you to really grow and expand and get those light bulb, for me, 2 a.m. light bulbs.
It's that mental time that you need to separate
Yeah.
yourself from your business, that you're not just drudging the day to day and being able to
Yes.
take advantage of and
It's a
take
nice
advantage of.
reset.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a nice
Even if
reset.
even if it's that literally, it's even if that's few minutes or that one little thing that you take away or you get from it, you will literally benefit, the rest of your life.
You will. And the other thing I want to touch on is just very quickly, is education. I feel like a lot of people they go out, they take a course, they get a certification, they're like, all right, I'm done, I'm an expert. You're not. There's so many things that are constantly coming out in this industry. There's updates with jurisdictions, with states. I mean, there's so much, and you constantly have to educate yourself to stay up to date. And not only are you helping yourself, but you're helping your customers by staying up to date with what is happening. Like we talked about, AI. AI is like a really big thing now. It's helpful. You have to be careful when you're using it, right? You can't just throw something in there and take it and run. You have to train AI in how to assist you with what you're doing. But yeah, no, this has been great. I love it. I mean, I'm super excited to go to the Western Show later this year. And for those that are on the edge saying, should I register for this course or for this, should I go to this exhibit, this event? The answer is yes. Get out there and help yourself because in order to be the best person, you have to educate yourself. And so I love this. Well, before we wrap up today's episode, do you have anything else that you would like to leave our listeners with?
No, just what I said, but certainly education. I think come and take advantage of education because that's what we exist for, to provide the education. But the show floor is free. It doesn't cost you
Now
anything to
that's
come.
cool. A lot of show floors
It,
are not free.
if you just want to come and you can get away for the day, whatever,
Bring your
come to the
family.
show floor.
Come.
Free.
Yeah.
Bring your it's especially Saturdays, I mean, bring your family. That's the other thing is that we have worked hard on making Long Beach, and we're lucky where we're at. It's a beautiful, beautiful area,
God, it's
beautiful place,
gorgeous.
and
Yes.
uh, we have I mean, certainly, nearly 40 years ago when we first came there, it was a little bit sketchy. You didn't want to walk too far away and stuff, but they
Don't
have
walk at
developed the
night.
area
Not anymore.
into one of the more most beautiful and attractive places. And
God,
so
it's gorgeous.
near there's Disneyland. There's all kinds of other things that you can go and do. So we've
Mhm.
worked too to try and make it understanding it as a destination, not just just the show itself. I mean that you
Yeah.
can take advantage of, and people do come. They come from the Midwest. Or they come from. We have a big contingent that comes from Hawaii every year.
Nice.
But there's about 30 people who come every year from Hawaii, and but we it is a cool place to be. It's a neat area, and things again like the Queen Mary, which is one of the our we're trying to get our everybody taking advantage. It's a great hotel too. We're actually staying this year on the Queen Mary. That's
Nice. Yeah, I know Johnny Lacey from the Grit Game are going to be staying there. I am not staying there. They were booked up. But, before we wrap this up, if someone has questions about the Western show, who would they contact?
just call our general information line. Go online. The biggest thing is go to westernshow.com. That's most important thing is just go to the website, westernshow.com. That's where you register and stuff. Queen Mary still has rooms. We want to get people in, so Queen Mary still has a lot. We still have rooms. We want to get people taking advantage of it. It's the best price. So, but go to westernshow.com. We try to have everything there, the information there, information about the education, information that you can see all the different classes. Just look at the drop-down menu, see the seminar schedule, which is, we're changing it here and there all the time, trying to make it even better. But there's more than most all the classes are new this year, especially we've really formatted and everything is different, and we're really focusing a lot of how we're doing and changing our education program. Even though I think it's the best in the industry, but we're trying to make it even better. So.
Well, I love that. Well, Eric, I can't thank you enough for coming on today. And guys, that's kind of a wrap on today's episode of the Talking Pools podcast. We
Oh,
busted some big myths about the Western Pool and Spa Show, uncovered the facts and that make it such a cornerstone event in our industry. And a huge thank you again to you, Eric, joining me and sharing some insights about the Western Pool and Spa Show to help and how you guys continue to elevate education, community, and innovation across aquatics. And so here's the part that you don't want to miss. The Western Pool and Spa Show will take place February 12th through 14th at Long Beach Convention Center and Entertainment Center in Long Beach, California. And you heard it from Eric himself. The Queen Mary still has availability. I definitely missed that when I looked, so shame on me. But there's still availability. They're still accepting registrations. And so whether you're a service professional, a builder, retailer, or supplier, this show has something for you. So mark your calendars, register, and come experience seminars, networking, and the exhibit hall that makes the Western Pool and Spa Show one of the most impactful events in the pool and spa world. Until next time, guys, stay gritty.
thank you, Natalie.